And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Crash and Burn Bobby, and joining me is the Demolition Derby Daredevil himself, Wrecking Ray. But before I get to Wrecking Ray, we actually have the Goddess of Fear, the New Zealand heathen, with us, though, too.
Yes,
and
yes, we do.
And Wrecking Ray, what else do you have to say about this?
Well, it's a real pleasure to be here, Bobby. That's all I got to say. And in case anybody's wondering, there are rockets and machine guns on my lawnmower as we speak. Because, God damn it, I'm ready for the war. Twisted Metal's coming.
That's the spirit, Ray. That's what I'm talking about. Now, for all of you newcomers, Twisted Metal is not just a TV series, it's a way of life. So grab your steering wheels, ammo crates, and a side order of mayhem because we're serving up a heaping helping of twisted tales and tiring squealing action. It gets crazier than a clown on roller skates with a flamethrower. And speaking of clowns, who could forget Sweet Tooth? He's our resident headliner, folks, a homicidal maniac with a flaming crown driving an ice cream truck. And we're going to go on ahead and we're going to head on out onto the open road and we are going to review Twisted Metal. Right. And how's everyone doing?
Good, thank you, sir.
You're very welcome.
Doing great. Yes, I'm doing great.
So here we are. We finally did it. I finally finished Twisted Metal. Don't be pulling your eyes.
Only took you this long, John. Only took you this long.
How many years?
I have other stuff that I had to review.
But
remember this: a reviewer is never late, nor is he early. He arrives just as he means to.
Fair enough. We'll accept it.
By doing more, you're doing less.
Exactly. Well, you know what, though, guys? I definitely have to say I enjoyed this series. I really did. I liked the whole entire start of the show. I also liked how we are introduced to Anthony Mackie's character, and I like how it sets us up in the mall, just like how we would be in the mall, shooting up cars and things like that, and him looking at the map and wondering how to get out of the place and stuff like that. And we're actually looking at the map. Oh, look, there's a Foot Locker. I've got to stop at a Foot Locker. We would actually do that. So that's something that I really liked within the show itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many moments throughout the episodes where the 90s references are all over this show. I mean, you can feel them. So all that stuff. But yeah, definitely that opening is one of the best openings to a show, man. It really is. Just him driving, like you said, driving through the mall. Seeing the Foot Locker. Although I still wonder because he only stole one shoe. That's the one thing I still can't get past.
That was the one thing that you complained about on the stream, hey John.
Yes, he only took one shoe, and then the next scene he has both on, and I'm just like, nah, that's a little bit of movie magic.
And
but no, again, it's
awesome.
awesome.
I was like, oh my god, he's wearing the shoes that he stole. Like, how is that? And you're like, no, he's only wearing one of the shoes that he stole.
But no, again, it's great. It's a really great opening. I agree.
I like the music though too, with the Cypress Hill music. You also have the thong song. You have Barbie Girl. I'm looking at you, Jamie, for that.
That ain't torture. That is not torture. I would have been like, turn it up, louder.
That's great.
God, yeah.
But yeah, I thought that Anthony Mackie was a perfect casting choice for this show, though, too. I like how he's like over the top. He's eccentric. He's also very humble for what he does. And he's a milkman trying to deliver goods to New San Francisco. And of course, you wind up having the governor who winds up telling him, hey, look, if you can go on ahead and deliver something in the next amount of time, you get to live in New San Francisco. And you definitely know that she's going to wind up backstabbing him and things like that later on. But I like how they do the initial setup of pretend. It's all about political stuff anyways. It's where basically she has the baby in her hand and then she goes, okay, enough with this baby. Shoves him off.
Take the baby. Take the baby. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that scene. She's great too. She is great as a villain. She's a really good villain.
And then, of course, you also have, what's his name from Wings? You actually have Thomas Hayden Church, who plays Lowell in Wings in this, though, too, as the main villain, which is something I really like seeing. I always like seeing him whenever he's on screen. He always has, like, a presence about him that I really
Yeah. Yeah, he's great as the sheriff. Or is he the sheriff or what is he called again? It's been a while, so I'm sorry. I'm not remembering his name, but yeah, he's great as the lawman or whatever he's called. Yeah, I love him in this role. I think he brings the perfect amount of like seriousness, but also like silliness. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like he's not a silly character, but there's silliness just in how serious he plays it. Do you know kind of thing? I really like that.
Yeah.
But another thing though too is like I also like the Hush. I like her. I like the chemistry between Anthony Mackie and her was really good. I thought the initial setup was really good for that. The vengeance that she wants to put on Hayden Church's character and everything too. I thought that was really good. I thought the motivation for revenge was good.
Yeah, that's a tough scene. That's a tough scene with her and her brother and them surrounding them and got them on their knees in the junkyard or whatever. Yeah, that's a tough scene, man.
But you know, this thing has a lot of dark humor within itself, though, too, that I liked.
Oh, for sure.
As well. You also have whenever they're screwing inside the in the ball pit and stuff like that too.
Great scene. That was a great episode.
So can honestly say we've never done that before.
Same. I never.
But I want to now.
Right? Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I don't know. Anyway, good scene though.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But what was some of the other stuff that you guys?
Twice. That's what she said, didn't she?
Yeah.
When they were playing that Never Have I Ever game or whatever it is. Too good.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I love the introduction of oh jeez, see, I'm gonna forget everybody's name now for some reason. The clown. I love that whole episode. Yeah, Sweet Tooth. Jesus, yeah. I really love his story arc throughout. I really like when he hooks up with the other deputy or whatever he is, and they sort of go around collecting all these people. Yeah. And they go around sort of collecting all these people, and he's trying to have sort of a redemption story, but yeah, he's still just killing people everywhere he goes. But yeah, I love that arc. There's a lot of great arcs. I like the arc later too with the trucker gang or whatever they are. You know, the truckers with them. So there's a lot, man. There's so much packed into this season, man. There really is. I mean, you watching it fresh, John. Where are you at with it? Because I mean, I know you say you liked it, but I mean. Do you remember playing the game? Like, do you remember like?
Yeah, I remember actually playing the video game to this. I mean, I remember just tearing it up with the clown truck and trying. And matter of fact, I thought that the clown truck was the most intimidating thing at that time. It was like, oh shit, how am I going to get out of this situation?
Yep.
Now,
you never wanted that thing behind you ever.
No. And seeing it being played out at the very end of it with Sweet Tooth's truck. Remind me exactly
the
why
missile
you
out
don't
of
want
the
to be
face,
behind.
out of the head and the top, like all that stuff. I was just like, yes.
They got so much accuracy right with this, and then also too, I like you said, I like the arc of Sweet Tooth though too, because you're not sure about where this was going because it was a sitcom and everything too that they were doing. Wait, how is this connected over to the series? And then you realize, oh, it's Sweet Tooth at an early age where he winds up being a sitcom kid and then winds up killing an animal. And then that's kind of what motivates him to be who he is in this apocalyptic world. But I also like Hayden Church's character where basically he's a security cop at a mall and these girls are just being snobs to him. And all of a sudden the apocalypse and basically just annihilates everybody to the point where he becomes kind of jaded to the point of like, well, you didn't basically respect me even whenever I was just a security cop, so why should I even try and help you? So now everybody that was against me, I'm now going to basically just annihilate you because there's no rules anymore.
He was disrespected in his workplace by everybody, not just the girls at the mall.
Right.
Pretty much nobody had respect for him because he wasn't technically a police officer. He was just a mall cop. So yeah, that disrespect for his authority or like his job title, led him to have that sort of vengeance against everybody, I guess, in the apocalypse.
Yeah,
Like,
well, and I think also they did a really good. We talked about this, I think, when we did our review too. Was that scene when the woman and the husband come into his house and take his stuff? It just that little bit, you get it. Like he's at this point, he's not who he is now. You know what I mean? this kind of weak, kind of not sure of himself, I guess is the better way to say it, not sure of himself person. And then we see this sort of overconfident person later. But yeah, it's the story building and the world building they actually do in this show for the silliness that it ensues throughout is really good. I mean, they really do some really good story building, because when we get to that end and that setup for the second season, man, I don't know if it works if this first season isn't this good. What do you think?
I think that the biggest mistake that they did was killing off Sweet Tooth. I think they should.
No way he's dead, dude. No way he's coming back for sure.
Because that's what I
Even
want.
Agent Stone, I don't think Stone's dead either.
No way.
Nah.
I'm not even sure the deputy's dead. I'm not even 100% sure the deputy's dead, or the sheriff, whatever he is. Yeah, I'm not sure he's dead.
They panned away just as that shot went off.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no body way. Or anything. Then then
exactly.
But all we saw was Sweet Tooth's mask, and we heard a shot off camera. So yeah, nobody's dead yet, in my opinion. This is a video game show. They can all be alive. I don't care.
Exactly. That's all I care about.
Using our conspiracy theories. Where's that background that Jace has? God damn it! All our theories coming out now. This person's still alive.
I know it's Pepe. It's got to be Pepe.
But you know what, though? I also like the chemistry, like I said, between Hush and also Anthony Mackie's character, which is John Doe. And I like how
I love it.
But yeah, I like how John is like, well, I just woke up one day and this is who I am. And, you know, my first initial thoughts was like, okay, so this is basically how characters feel whenever their creators winds up creating them, and how we're playing them. They just wake up one day and they start being who they are. Yeah. That was my first initial thoughts, because I'm actually a geek and I went that far. Then when you come out later on, it's like, oh, he actually did have a real name. Okay, my bad. I breathed way too deep into that.
Yeah.
For that moment, I thought that was...
And I like the way they sort of build that connection with him in the car, and why he makes that decision eventually, you know, to sort of leave her and say, no, I can't just leave the car. Because you feel both of their pains in that moment, obviously, you know, at that point, because you see his attachment to the car, and you see, you know, her kind of being like, yeah, but you have me now. And he's like, I know, but like, I can't just walk away. So yeah, again, the story building in this is really crazy. How much detail they put into it. I mean, really, it is. Yeah, a lot of the minor.
Because I never thought I would actually find myself crying about a car.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like I really expected this. I mean, I didn't. And I just loved every minute watching this show, because it really does do a great job of all of that. Yeah. All the
and then I also like
sorry.
Go on.
I said that to Don when we did our review. I was like, I never thought that I would get emotional over a man and his relationship with a car. Like, it never crossed my mind. And yet I was feeling so emotional for John Doe and what was the car's name again? Evelyn. That's it. Yeah.
Hush, but yeah. Evelyn.
Just very, very
sad.
The
car. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, the car. Yeah, just seeing, you know, his backstory and how it literally saved his life, like unintentionally. Obviously, the car's not thinking, but just
in his mind,
all
though.
the memories. Yeah, in his child mind, that really saved his life. So, to see all their whole journey together, it was really beautiful. And to see the ending now, I don't know if we're doing spoilers or not, but that ending it was very emotional. So very sad.
Well, not only that, but you see, John never really is. He never is taught to grow up. He sort of still has that childhood like immaturity to him. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's very
right, especially in the shopping mall, and then and especially when he goes through somebody else's belongings in a car, he goes through their CD player, because I like how they developed this, where it takes place in 2002. And so he's going through people's CDs. He's like, Dave Matthews Band, throws that out. And then he winds up getting a couple of other albums that he thought that was really fire at that time. And he winds up taking them.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
I think it was the second track. And he's like, the second track's so good. And we just bop.
So great. It's so great.
Oh, great. can't remember the lines, but something like that. But yeah, really, the whole soundtrack was definitely of that time, like that 2000s era, like late 90s, 2000s. And oh god, did I appreciate that? That was my era, you know. That was really
mine
good.
too. That's hands down my era music and stuff like that too. Especially when you had DMX, Party Up. You had the Thong Song by Cisco playing.
Yeah.
And now that
was one of my favorite lines in that when Thong Song came on and John was trying to convince Sweet Tooth, you know, like, no, I really do love this song, dude. And he's like, I played Unleash the Dragon till the disc broke.
Yeah.
So funny. Like Unleash the Dragon was another hit that was of that time, you know. So,
I'll be honest, that's actually a really good album. That Unleash the Dragon is actually a good album. So
oh god, there's like 2 songs that we know on it, Don. Come on, let's be
realistic. No, I actually know. I know that whole album.
Don listened to it from front to back.
I love that album. I'm from Baltimore, Drew Hill, man. That's where they're
from, my dude.
But I only know 2 songs: Unleash the Dragon and the Thong Song. I was not into.
I know 2 hits.
No, there's a bunch of songs on there that are really good. There's another song. I think it's the 3rd song. I can't remember. I have to go back to the names of them all, but yeah.
But I like the early 2000 era of songs that they chose through it because of the fact that it feels more like a character in its own self and sets the tone for what we're getting and makes us more invested into this world. Also, too, I like the maps and everything too that we get because it's just like how we would get
the cartographer from the games. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah.
Because it's just like us. We end up getting the maps. We don't know where we're going. We have to pay attention to the logos. And then I like how Hush looks at it and goes, "Is that a vagina?" Because you don't know where she's going.
It's great. But they also, if you notice, they have they had the highway map. They had the demolition derby map at the end, and they also had the dam.
Yep, I remember all those maps from the very first
game.
video.
Yeah, they were in the game. Yeah, the settings in the background were different maps from the game. There's a couple of them. Yeah, that they even the mall, not the mall itself, but it was outside the mall or something. There was a map like that or something like.
Yeah, there was an outside map. I forgot what that map was called.
Yeah.
But you know, it makes I like the fact that they kept it inside versus outside because it gives us more of a nostalgia to old stores that was available during the early 2000s that we used to shop in. So I got the nostalgia right there for that.
Oh, for sure.
But you know, I definitely like the girls that's in the 18-wheeler though. And then you're introduced to the mother, and then when the mother dies, you get to see how they go in whenever somebody dies and how they send that person off into the afterlife. I just thought that was a pretty neat way of seeing how different people handle the apocalypse in a certain way and how they do things differently than what some other people do. And I like how the mother dies.
And sort of a Viking-esque apocalyptic, and
then just blows up the mother inside the car.
That was such a good scene though. Like I said to Don that I really appreciated that because it showed that, you know, in apocalyptic times, we saw just how violent and sick and freaking straight up twisted, pun intended, people were in that apocalypse. You know, like the scene there where John Doe's like passed out from eating all the flowers or, you know, getting drugged by the flowers. He's lying down and, you know, some creepy ass guy comes up and he's like feeling him up. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely sick people out there. So the fact that she wanted to go out on her own terms and die peacefully, happily, the way that she wanted to die was really, really beautiful because majority of people, I would say, in an apocalypse would not be dying like that. You know, like there was people who ate people, you know, there was cannibals, there was butchers, there was like a whole bunch of sick people in this series. So at least she got to go out on her own terms, dying in what she loved, which was vehicles, you know, like cars or trucks or whatever. It was beautiful. I thought it was really good.
I thought so too, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Then there was also the movie theater scene though that I thought that was really good too. And when John has to introduce Hush to movies, and then it's like and there's no sound coming from it, so they have to do their own interpretation of what's going on. But John memorizes the whole entire movie.
Yeah. Well, and then they start making up their own stuff, which is fun too.
Right.
Yeah. Great scene. I agree. I love that scene too.
And then I like how they don't get along at first or anything like that. She's always winds up leaving him, and then he always has to try and find her. Stu and the other guy. I thought that
she
was
is
actually pretty
definitely
funny
in the
too.
beginning of this.
Mike?
She is definitely early seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine for sure. She is definitely that.
Yeah.
Again, I love it because she plays
So
that.
much attitude. Yeah.
Yeah, she plays that character so well. Just that shut off type of don't talk to me,
Yeah.
person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like that as Rosa in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then at the start when we got that scene with that the interrogation sort of scene with Agent Stone or Sheriff Stone or whatever we want to call him, you know, she was just so Rosa in those moments. Like, you can punish me. She spat in his face, like just no respect at all, which pissed him off even more, didn't it?
Yeah, I love that.
And then trying to torture them with Barbie Girl, and then I like how John Doe goes, "I hope you know this is not torture for me. I like this song."
Yeah, I like this song. Oh God.
I mean, look though, what else do you have, man? I mean, you got to hold on to something, man. And that's really it. Music and movies are what's going to keep you going, I would think. Yeah, so yeah, that makes the most sense to me, man. For sure.
I know that we talked about the girls in the 18-wheeler, but I like how they make the 18-wheelers a lot larger than what they actually are on the inside. Basically, you have a bar, you have cars in it, you have all this stuff going on, like a Mad Max Fury Road kind of vibe.
Exactly. It's like a cruise. Like, you know, when you jump on a cruise, you've got a city on a boat, and that's what it felt like being on their rigs, you know, like it was all these trucks and you've got all these rigs, but inside there was like bars, toilets, garages, you know, like a whole city in trucks. It was cool. It was so cool.
I love the setup of it, even though they're a little exaggerated once they get inside. But yeah, it's kind of like if you remember Knight Rider. Remember Knight Rider when they would get inside the trailer and then it was like 3 times as wide as a
3 times the size of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's kind of. But
it does remind me have that Knight Rider kind of vibe to it. If you think
but you know, again, this show gets those liberties, man. Like this show, you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever, let's go.
Yeah, it's totally unrealistic.
I'm going with it. I'm going. Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
This thing, like you said, guys, this has so many arcs in it to the point where you care and you're invested into the characters, to where it just sucks you right in. Yep. And that's something that I thought that was really important, was the fact, it looks fun at the very beginning for the pilot episode, but how is this going to progress through? And am I going to be more invested into it just because, they got some things right within the pilot, but am I going to be invested enough to watch the rest of all 10 episodes? Man, when they go on ahead and go through every single character arc in this, you care, you're invested into it, the writing is good. There's nothing bad. There's nothing I can't say that's negatively bad about this show at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything overall I would say is bad about the show. I mean, there are obviously, it's not a perfect show. I mean, nothing's perfect, but overall, they get everything right. They get the tones right. They get the sort of balance of, like you said, story, seriousness, and silliness. And yeah, I think any show that can make you care and make you laugh, I mean, I love that type of stuff. So, and especially this, something I grew up with, Twisted Metal, or, anything like that. Of course,
this reminds me of us loving The Last of Us so much, though, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all the things all the accuracies that they did right with The Last of Us, and how they did things right with Twisted Metal. Now, if they can continue this with the TV shows, I think that we could actually see more better viewed from video games to TV adaptions. I would like to see Assassin's Creed as a TV series versus a movie.
Eventually, man, that would be awesome. Yeah.
We've talked about this before, Don and I, and the difference is with things like The Last of Us, it was the TV version had influence from the creators of the video game. Twisted Metal had influence from the people who created the Twisted Metal video game. One Piece, the recent live action of One Piece, the anime, had influence from Oda, who was the creator, right? And you can see when all of these shows or movies, whatever they are, if they're made by the people who love them or genuinely give a crap about them, you can see the difference in that compared to a Disney remake or a spin-off. It's actually good. It's actually watchable. The production, the set.
You can see the care.
Because the creators know what can be taken away and what can be changed and what, that won't ruin it. Where I don't think most people that, even if you're a big fan of it, you can't really know how people are going to react to something you change or take out or add or whatever until it happens. Where at least the creators sort of have, I think, a little more of that kind of feel for the story itself and what is important to tell the story. Do you know what I mean? I think maybe that probably has a lot to do with that, for sure. I mean, definitely Last of Us, it did. You can tell the things that were added, taken away, changed, all that stuff worked perfectly. So, yeah.
And also, too, I like how the pacing of the episodes are like 30 minutes. It's not like overly done. They told the story that they needed to tell within that one episode, and it goes into the next episode, continuing off right where we left off at. And that's something I do appreciate. They don't try and do too much within one episode either. They know what they're after, and that makes me more enthused into wanting to see more of it. But I thought the chemistry between Stu and Mike was something that I thought was really funny between the two of them. Where you have Mike, who's supposed to be this tough guy who winds up not being as soft as Stu is. Stu is more of a softie, and he's basically just geeking out how we would geek out as fans of something, especially when he goes, "Hey, look what's in his car. Can you believe this is in his car?" Mm-hmm. And so I just thought that he represents who we are as fans of something.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
But what other things did you want to ask me as far as what I thought about the show? Because I know that there were some things that you guys might have covered that you probably were wondering what I thought of.
What did you feel about the most important cameo in the whole show, man? At the
I
end,
loved it.
Thunder. What is it? Shoot. See, I'm trying to remember now. The Thunderbird. At the end.
Thunderbird was fantastic, and then them having to fix it up. And I like how he finally gives Hush a gun.
Yeah.
Her own axe out of the glove compartment and everything. I thought that was really good.
That's a really cool moment.
Yeah, and I also like how he's like, "What are you doing? That's going to weigh our car down." No, it's not. That's not going to weigh our car down. Trust me, it's going to weigh us down. We need something that's light, that's going to be light on our feet to where we're not going to have anything weigh down on us. And so they have that little back and forth, and finally she winds up winning that fight between the two of them, and they wind up getting it. And, I just thought it was just brilliantly well shot. I thought that I got to see all the action sequences. There was no shaky cam in this. We got to see everything as it was told. And I also like how, you actually have Sweet Tooth going over there. Hey, you guys are together? That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then finally he winds up setting up all those rockets and everything. And then Stu is like, "What are you doing? They're on our side." Because we're not on anybody's side.
Yeah.
So
Stu's another great character, man.
The angel on his, you've got the angel and the devil on your shoulder. He was definitely on the angel of poor old Sweet Tooth, who is just devil straight up. Let's kill.
Oh, for sure.
Let's just murder things. But as you said, his arc and his backstory as to how he became that was really, really cool. And even to the point where John and I talked about it, like seeing his parents, when he went back to the asylum and his parents were on the ground, he'd kept them prisoned like he was prisoned. You know what I'm saying? So that little backstory and tying that in was really good too. I thought it was great.
So much. Yeah, there's so much. Yeah, there is.
And it reminded me of something out of straight up as of a horror movie, though, when you see the jail cell, when you see them being introduced to, he goes, "Look, I want to introduce you to my parents."
He tortured the shit out of them. He did. He tortured the shit out of them.
I mean, when you rock up in an asylum, you're not thinking good things, are you?
No.
He tortured them for as long as he could, and then he probably just left them to die. I guarantee that's what happened. Sure. Yeah.
And I think that the motivation with him doing that is perfect because it actually describes who his character is, and he knows what he's after. And I also like how he's going after everybody too, all the cops and stuff like that. And he's taking no prisoners. And I like, of course, how you have Thomas Hayden Church's characters like, wait, he killed everybody? Yeah, he killed everybody. And so it makes. Whenever he was going after John Doe, it was like, well, either I go after John Doe and them, or I go after Sweet Tooth. So it's like Sweet Tooth kind of got him off his back a little bit.
I think he had a vengeance for Quiet because he knew that she had attitude and messed it up. And John Doe was sort of like just there, just the accomplice sort of thing. So he went after them because of that, like vengeance that she'd come and like taken out all the outposts, but really it was Sweet Tooth just going around killing all of these people at these outposts that he'd set up. So Sweet Tooth was doing all the hard work, and Quiet and John Doe were getting the blame for it, unfortunately. But yeah, anyway, worked out in the end, didn't it?
Exactly. But I also like how he lights his head on fire. That's just something straight up from the video game. The color scheme of it, though, too, with the lightning bolts and stuff like that, too. Whenever they're when John Doe and Hush goes into the, I'm not going to call it Chuck E. Cheese because it's not a Chuck E. Cheese, but it's actually a fast food restaurant. And they go over there, and she's like, "I want a hamburger." And he's like, "Does this thing fucking work?" He goes, "Well, what do you think?" And I just thought that was pretty interesting on how they wind up having a conversation and then having flashbacks of her brother, because she's still dealing with that.
Yeah, that flashback from her brother too was really, really good. When I was talking to Don about it, I liked that because that gave us the perspective of people. Like it tied us in with like we saw a little bit at the start with that Ravens community, like she's a general or whatever of that little community, the leader, I guess you could say, of that little community, and we only got to see a little bit of insight of what happens within that, but something dodgy's going on there. So it's so good in that flashback scene with Quiet and her brother to see that they were looking for this better life, and what they ended up getting is they were prisoned to people who lived behind these walls. They were like slaves, really human slaves, for the people behind the walls, and they would cut off souvenirs, like parts of their body to wear as souvenirs and stuff, to show that they were owned by somebody else. And that was a good way of showing how twisted the show is, but also it gave us the perspective of the people that live behind the walls, sort of like the wealthy or the elite versus the scavengers, the vultures on the outside sort of thing. So I thought that was really cool to get that flashback as well.
I think so too. And I also like how she's trying to deal with the trauma of losing her brother and seeing and her brother trying to talk her out of going after Hayden Church's character. He goes, like, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "You're not real." He goes, "Well, I'm a figment of your imagination, and you got a fucked up imagination. Look, you've got a bullet in my head right here. You left me the same way that you saw me. Yeah, you're all messed up right now." So I liked how how they try to get her to deal with the trauma of losing her brother in that kind of messed up way. It kind of reminds me of American Werewolf in London, in a sense. So that's something I really have to say that they nailed pretty well with the whole entire trauma. And then I like how you have John Doe's like
that fight between them too, though.
Yeah.
After that, where he's like, "You're not getting out of here. Just meet me. Let's have a fight." And that fight is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty badass for a few minutes at least.
But another thing, though, too, that I really liked was when John Doe was sitting down with her, because, "Hey, look, you get to go on ahead and go to the new San Francisco with me. And you get to have the same life as me." Yeah. And then as soon as he pulls up to the gate, you realize, no, this is not going to end well, because number one, they got a new guard now. And it's not the same guard that he had before whenever he went over there to deliver something. And it's like, then I knew right then and there, I was like, no, she made the deal with John Doe. She did not make the deal with Hush. Hush is going to be with the scavengers, while John Doe is going to be looking above everybody else. And I like how John's like, "No, I'm not leaving you. I'm not going in there without you or anything. I'm going to stay here with you." And she just wanted what was best for him and knew that this was what he wanted. Even before and that just broke me. I'm like, oh my God. And then she winds up shooting him to get and they bring him in there.
Yeah.
And then, you realize everything is just a stupid stage play in a sense, where the governor is basically paying everybody to be nice to John Doe.
Right.
It's an illusion, a mask over his own face, like a veil. And that veil has not even been unseen yet. And he's just going with it, thinking that this is real. And then whenever he has those egos, I'm thinking and all those years, that's like a year supply of egos. I'm like, you're going to get tired and burnt out with all that.
For sure.
And that's exactly how he felt like later on that you've seen it and you see him break down. But I thought that was a really good way of actually setting it up. Is like the grass is not always greener on the outside. I say
But
on the
there is,
inside.
if there's an illusion, there's an
Yep.
illusion that it's all rosy red. But we knew from the start that Raven was up to no good. But yeah, finally at the end, he gets that realization. And what a pissed off realization that was. Like, she sent him to Calypso on this bloody road trip to go and get what? Like, are you kidding? Oh, I was pissed off with that reveal. I was so mad at her.
Ice cream. And then she bitches about the fact that the ice cream is wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm a big fan of ice cream, but that's
too
an
far.
extreme.
Too far.
Yeah, way too
far.
Literally, he went too far.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Both, yeah.
Way too
Figuratively and literally. Yeah, I agree.
And think about it like this: you're knocking people out with her package too, and then trying to protect the package at all costs because you don't even know what this package is.
Yeah.
Bloody scoop of ice cream. Ugh.
Yep. And then there's also that bar scene where basically everybody's acting like they're talking and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, everybody, places, get in your places. He's coming.
Yeah, it's a very, very weird and a very weird way of setting up for season 2. Like I said, this whole setup for season 2, man, I think is very interesting because we know Clyde's going to come back. Obviously, she's going to be in the tournament that they're eventually setting up for, which I do like that she finally just drops it and she's just like, all right, look, this is why we really have you here. Like, we're not, I do like that eventually she's just like, all right, I can't, like, whatever.
At that point, it feels like Death Race after that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
And,
definitely, for sure.
you know, I like how she's like, well, since you're the best person at delivering stuff, this is why you're here. And so you also have Hush, who's killing other milkmen and she's like Robin Hood.
Yeah.
And taking other people out to give to the poor, which I thought was a really cool thing that she's doing.
Yep, I love it.
Yeah, take from the rich and give. Take from the rich and give to the needy. That's her little tagline. Hey, but yeah, again, seeing that end reveal, you know that I forget what that. Is it Dollface or something? The sister of John Doe, like the setup for that. Is that what?
Oh, right, yeah.
Something like that.
Go on and talk about that.
I think it is Dollface. No, I think you're right.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, I heard you know my brother." I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like this just exploded and opened right up. It was so good. Yeah. That was good.
And it's gonna be cool to see them work together. I see Dollface and her working together, not getting along at first, and then and then all of a sudden they wind up working together. Now I have a question for you guys, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So remember whenever the governor was actually showing John Doe the house that he grew up in? Now, was that a house that he actually grew up in, or was that just something that she just pulled together?
No, I think it is the actual house he grew up in. Yeah, I do. Or at least if it's not, she recreated it somehow from that picture because it does look like the picture. So,
yeah. I like how John tells her, this is who I used to be. Right.
Yeah, it could be another manipulation, though, for sure. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's really good that they're tying in the sister so that we can see the history. Like, for all we know, his parents could still be alive.
Yeah.
You know, he's been alone all this time, but we have no idea about what his past is actually like because, she's just manipulated him the whole way through. Why would she come clean now? It doesn't make any sense.
Not only that, but he might not even remember that
he's going to go after her. I mean, I think we all think that, right? That he's going to definitely want to take her down in the second season, probably. So, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
But I also don't think that John knows that he even has a sister. I think that this is also going to cause a conflict between brother and sister.
I don't think he knows, right? Yeah, I agree.
And
that's why I said knowing that he's got a sister is going to open everything like right up, you know, like knowing that he's actually got a family now.
Right, and an actual name, but I think he's still going to go after John Doe, though. I think that's what he wants his name to be. Because think like this, he's into action movies, he's into stuff like that, so he wants his name to be popular. So he wants to probably still keep that stage name. That's the way I see it. In a sense.
That makes sense.
But,
makes sense.
but still, all in all, this was actually a great show. I really enjoyed watching it. I wish I could have joined you guys on that other panel, but I'm glad that you guys wanted to come over here and everything too, and
Oh,
just
absolutely, man.
talk about this because I'm glad that you guys told me to check it out and watch it because I was sucked right into it from the very beginning all the way to the end of it. I usually sometimes with some TV series or anything like that, you're either checking your watch and see how long you actually have, or you're pausing it to see how long. I just watched this thing straight up all the way through without even pausing it or anything like that either. So, other than maybe just checking and making sure dinner was ready and stuff, but still.
Priorities, John.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God, man, you can eat anytime. I mean, geez, you can eat anytime.
Yeah.
I'm a 10-year-old, but yeah. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show. I do appreciate this. But yeah. So, Jamie, I'm gonna let you go first. Do you have anything going on as far as your show or anything like that?
Yeah, today I'm putting up my One Piece panel review. So I jumped on and talked about One Piece, the live action, with a bunch of my friends. Some were noobs like myself, never watched anime. Well, I've watched the first episode, but never watched the anime One Piece. But we did watch the live action and loved it. And yeah, so we had a chat about that. And then I have my Daryl Dixon reviews coming up every week, and then very soon we're going to be talking about Gen V on the weekly, so that will be very fun too. So yeah, head on over to my YouTube in the front row YT if you want to see some more of The Walking Dead and some Gen V content.
Awesome.
What about for you, Don?
Yep, you guys can check me out at the Multiverse of Geekdom. We have Ahsoka reviews going on right now, our gaming in the multiverse, bunch of things coming down the pipe, trailer reviews, all that stuff though, guys. We do all that kind of craziness.
And
fun. Did you just say it's lit?
No, I said we do all that craziness over there.
Oh, I thought you said it's lit. I was like, wow, that's
Lit.
so hip of you.
So lit.
It's lit. It's crunk.
So lit.
So lit. Oh, sorry, John.
No, you're good.
What do you have going on?
So listen here, I actually have William Hillmont. He's actually a director that matter of fact, Don and I reviewed his short film. And that was the one with Tony Todd about the Civil War.
Yeah.
I'm going to be interviewing him on Tuesday, a matter of fact, at 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for that one. I can't wait to talk to him again. I actually got to interview him about 2 years ago for a short film Alone. So it's going to be fun to be able to talk to him again about this film. I also have my Serial Mom review that I'm doing on Saturday at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I'm also going to be dropping my Aquaman Lost Kingdom trailer reaction tomorrow morning. So that's a couple of things that I'm doing over on the channel. But stay tuned for more because I'm probably going to have a guest TikToker with me reviewing The Fugitive. So everything else is to be announced. So I hope that everyone has a great and safe night. Thank you again, guys. I do appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for coming on here to review Twisted Metal. I hope that we get to do this again for season 2. And without further ado, that's going to be it. Have a great, safe night.